going to be launching a tasty pastry. It's a low-carb Pop-Tart. It's got 3 to 4 grams of net carbs, and we love this show. This is our best place to be in LA.
Welcome back to Legendary Foods Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Monday, December 27th, 2021. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. Since this is the last Monday of 2021, I figured why not do something that we haven't done all year long. So we're leading off the show today with an update from 4-time Olympia champ Jay Cutler, who proved that he still got some juice in the tank a few days ago when he released this comparison clip of him doing his famous quad smack. Listen, speaking as someone who's in his 50s now, to see that Jay is still in this kind of shape at 48 is unreal, because this just goes to show you that he really is one of the most insane genetic freaks to ever touch the stage. Even in retirement, Jay's still somehow doing things 10 levels above everyone else, because that's what he does, and it's why he's always been a cut above. At 36 years old, I'm still in the prime of my career, ready to take on the 2022 Arnold and win that title. We will be ready. And just in case that video didn't clue you in, that quote came from the King Snake himself, Steve Kuclo, who's apparently revved up and raring to go already at this point in his prep for the Arnold Classic. Even though he finished third in last year's contest, I think a lot of people considered that to be one of the best looks of his career. He just happened to run into a couple of buzzsaws at the top in Nick Walker and Ian Valliere. And with those two out of the lineup, maybe that opens up the door for him to jump the line and bring home the win. I guess Steve Kuclo isn't the only one fired up about starting his Arnold Classic 2022 prep. Because from the way it looks, Terrence Ruffin is already off to the races too. A few days ago, Terence posted this photo of where he's starting this off-season from, and all things considered, this is probably the best that he's ever looked to start a prep. I know that Terence was one of the people who was really vocal about not wanting to compete at the Arnold unless they raised the prize money for the Classic Physique division. And now that the pot is actually going to be bigger than it was for the Olympia, well, it definitely feels like the bar has been raised. This should be the most competitive lineup in Classic Physique outside of the Olympia that we've seen in the division. So if he ends up securing the win and defending his title, I think that might be enough to secure his place on their Mount Rushmore when it's all said and done. Why not make it 3 Arnold segments in a row? Because when the official lineups came out last week, hands down the biggest shocker was seeing the name Brandon Curry pop up on the screen. For me, one of the most interesting things about this decision for Brandon Curry is the historical precedent, because the last time he competed in Columbus was 2019. And do you remember how that ended? He won the Arnold, then later that year, he went on to win the Mr. Olympia title. For all intents and purposes, going back-to-back there is what will eventually land him a spot in the Hall of Fame, because 2019 was the year that he went from being good to being an all-time great. So if he can somehow do that again next year, 3 years after he did it the first time, it would be one of the greatest storylines in the history of bodybuilding. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.